Good afternoon, good evening, good morning from wherever you are. Welcome to another Nerd Nation stream. We're talking Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 8, Chapter 16, The Rescue. I'm with my usual cohort, the Chuckalorian, Ginger Greek. Unfortunately, Bobby can't be with us, but thank you very much for being with us, Ginger Greek. How you doing, mate?
I am good, baby. Slight change of format. We couldn't go live. There was technical issues with StreamYard, so this is going to be pre-recorded. But please, we do welcome all your comments down below, and we will interact with you. Me and Zan will interact through our own personal YouTube channels, and Cousin Cheeto will do it through the Nerd Nation channel. If you see some random responses from Ginger Creek and Mario, that's us.
Now we have a lot to talk about. This is full spoilers. We're not going to do our usual way of basically breaking down the episode and talking about it because this episode is so unique. We feel like we have to just get into the juicy part straight away. But before we start talking about that, we are unfortunate to lose the Jeremy Bullock, who was the original Boba Fett. He passed away yesterday, I believe.
Yeah, yesterday.
It's a real shame he passed away before this episode came out, unfortunately. But nevertheless, he was the original Boba Fett. Our condolences, thoughts go to his family at this particular time. You were the person who started off the Mandalorian trend, my friend, and you will be missed. Anything to say, Ginger, regarding Jeremy?
Not really. I mean, just not to sound too glib, but he was the guy in the suits. But to a lot of fans, he meant something. A lot of people got to meet him. I never met him myself. I've met loads of the Star Wars cast, but he was one I never met, and a lot of people saying he was a perfect gentleman. So yeah, it's sad to see him go, because a lot of the other fans kind of really were endeared to him.
He was like Anthony Daniels. He wasn't just under the suit. He also did the voice, I believe.
Did he?
Yeah, I believe. Oh. As well. And when you listen to the original Boba Fett voice, it's also pretty good. I mean, I'd be happy with that as well. I mean, he sounded menacing and but anyway, well, there we go. That's Jeremy Bullock. Thank you for what you've given us, and what he has given us is somebody who's taken over his role as Tamara Morrison. And he is in this episode, but not too much. But we are talking about what made this episode. This is full fucking spoilers. Shall we just go straight into it, Ginge?
Straight to the spoilers, baby!
All right. We're going to go straight to the end, though. Yeah? Are you cool with that? I'm going to go straight for it, man. But I just can't fucking contain myself. Fuck what all happened earlier on. When I saw that fucking X-Wing, I thought to myself, yay, the rebels are here. But you know what? I realized there's only one fucking X-Wing, and it immediately clicked. It's fucking Luke Skywalker. And when you see him in the cloak initially, and you think to yourself, that's definitely him. I'm sure it's him. And then you see the lightsaber, you see the one gloved hand, and then you get to see the full colored shots of the green lightsaber. You know it's fucking him. And then you see him chopping down all the fucking dark troopers like they're nothing, like they're confetti. It's just beautiful. And you see the fear in Moff Gideon's face. Oh my God, it was just amazing, man. He was like, this is what I fucking want. And then we get the reveal, and it wasn't the best, but I forgive it. I forgive the choppiness of the CGI of his face. I forgive it because I got what I fucking wanted, man. I got to see more of prime Luke fucking Skywalker as a fucking Jedi, as a Jedi fucking master, pretty much. And I fucking lost my fucking shit. I was really emotional. I'm surprised I'm not crying right now, but I've been fucking crying all fucking day thinking about this shit. But yeah, Ginge, what you got to say, man? Because I'm fucking emotional as fuck.
I could have ripped my nipples off. Such was the joy when I saw this. Now, I'll be honest, when I saw the X-Wing coming in, I thought it was Ahsoka Tano because it might have been setting her up, kind of teaming up with that new other Rebel show that's coming, and then they kind of spin off to Ahsoka stuff. So when I saw that X-Wing, I thought that. Then when I saw Get Out, I still thought that. But then when I saw a single lightsaber and the cloak and all that, I was like, no effing way. And then the green, when you then see the green saber, because it's initially on camera, and then when it switched to the green saber, I was like, I was screaming with hype. Do you understand how much it takes for me to get hyped? To be fair, not much. I'm very easily overexcited. I'm Greek. But oh my God, this just, I was like, I've wanted this since forever. We have the technology to do it. We'll get to that in a minute. But let's just talk about that scene, the sword play in it. It was prime Luke. It's what we've always wanted to see. Just Master Luke in his element, chopping through these dark troopers like they're nothing. Beautiful use of the Force, again underrated, and just that little reveal with his face. Okay, the CGI wasn't great. I don't care. All was allowed. All was forgiven there. It was absolutely fine. There were rumors that they did want to use Sebastian Stan, but then that would have just spoilers would have just been everywhere. So I think they just went with a de-aged Luke.
No, they had another actor who looks a lot like Mark Hamill, a young Mark Hamill.
Okay, so it wasn't.
Yeah.
So it's like a deep fake.
Yeah, and plus Sebastian Stan is I think over 6 foot, and Mark Hamill's under 6 foot. It would look weird.
Matter. Perspectives, you can tweak all that. That wouldn't have mattered. But yeah, that just blew me the fuck away. That's up there with the Darth Vader scene in Rogue One as one of my favorite scenes in Star Wars. I absolutely loved it. It was fantastic. Yeah,
the parallels were there with Rogue One. I mean, funny enough, within hours there was videos on YouTube showing, Darth Vader in the corridor chopping down fucking rebels, and then you've got now Luke Skywalker, like father, like son, chopping down fucking dark troopers in the corridor. Yeah, absolutely fantastic sword play.
Just brilliant. And you see, sometimes it's just the little things like that that means so much, because if we're talking about the new films, we were fucking robbed of all the new characters, except for Han Solo, who got a good chunk of action in The Force Awakens. But we were really robbed of Luke, and I felt this was like a redemption for Disney to give us just this moment to show his badassery. Because in The Last Jedi, they ruined it by having him as a hologram, and it was just a daft scene altogether, that bit there. So yeah, I enjoyed this. This was fantastic. This is my favorite thing of Star Wars, along with the Darth Vader scene and just the brutality of it as well. And
he used dark side powers as well. Like he crushed that fucking.
Well, that's still the Force. You could do that with the Force.
Yeah, but I don't think Jedi's would do that. Like he being a Jedi, he's like a modern day Jedi. So he's a bit greyish as well. But there were so many things in this episode as well. For a start, the love of your life, Sasha Banks, was in this episode. You must have been fucking happy beyond belief.
Moist. So moist. I would wife her so hard.
She was better in this episode.
Much better
in this episode. The geezer who was also with those Mandalorians, he wasn't in this episode today for some reason.
Yeah, if we want to rewind kind of back to the beginning and go through whatever
no problem.
Go through.
Well, like they ended up initially, we see Slave One going on that planet with all those fucking, power stations, and they go there to find obviously Bo-Katan and Sasha Banks. And I like the little scuffle between Sasha and Boba Fett because they're both taking the piss out of each other, both calling each other sidekicks and shit like that. And they have a little scuffle and stuff like that. It was all right, I guess. It was obviously setting us up for more. I'm not sure how you felt Moff Gideon came across as this, because I hope he's not going to become I'm a bit worried that he might come across as this bumbling villain.
We'll get to Moff Gideon a little bit later. We can rush through. We don't have to talk about every single scene, but Bo-Katan and Sasha Banks being there, the other guy not being there was a bit suspect. But
they agreed to help them if they could keep Moff Gideon's ship, which was all right. Yeah, fine, no problem. You can fucking have it.
Have the ship, have the dark saber. Who cares? Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. And then after that, they were pretty much they hijacked the clone guy's ship, his little vessel.
Right.
And that was at the beginning. Yeah. They're at the beginning, but those two pilots, the one who ended up killing his co-pilot and took the clone doctor hostage. I love the little tit for tat with her and with him and Cara Dune, because Cara Dune, obviously Aldrin's been destroyed and he's in the Death Star, and she goes, which one? Like
that was a nice little back and forth. It was
shooting.
The delivery was a bit dumb because of the tension of the moment, and they're just bantering, but it was still a fun banter. Just would have been better under different circumstances. But yeah, so they get that. They hijack the guy's ship. Then they just, blah, blah, blah. They end up on Moff Gideon's ship. I'll just skip to all that. End up
Well,
on
they
Moff
did.
Gideon's ship.
Conveniently, though, Boba Fett gets out of the picture here because he did try to kill Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's conveniently out of the picture here because obviously he pretends to be attacking the Imperial ship, which has got the rest of the crew on, and then he fucks off, and then we don't see him until after the credits. But yeah, that was pretty cool and pretty convenient that Boba's not out of the way. Imagine if Boba was in that room and he sees Luke Skywalker.
That would have been some good tension.
Yeah. So. But yeah, they're on the ship and they start taking people down, and obviously, we get a moment which reminds me of Terminator Salvation. You know what I'm on about?
I haven't watched Terminator Salvation.
That's the one with Christian Bale.
Yeah, no, I haven't watched it.
Oh,
after Terminator 3, I refuse to watch any other Terminator.
All right, in Terminator Salvation, yeah, he has a fight with the Arnie Terminator, which had just come out, like the brand new, but it was just at the beginning of that phase of Terminator being built.
Right.
Yeah. So that was the brand new Terminator, and he fights the first one, which looks just like Arnie and stuff like that. And it just and then eventually he burns the skin off that fucking thing, so you only see the metal skeleton. And the fight John Connor had with fucking that Terminator, kind of reminded me of Mando fighting the Dark Trooper, which managed to get out the door.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. It was a good fight scene, but after that fight scene, he immediately has a fight scene with fucking Moff Gideon, and I'm not sure how you felt about that one.
So I really actually liked the fight with the robots. I like that whole scene there.
Punching him in the fucking helmet.
Yeah, with the scramble thing. And obviously we know the Beskar, how it displaces energy when hit. So I thought that was really good. I mean, he should have still been knocked out by the impact, but okay. But I really enjoyed that fight scene because it's like, oh yeah, you're in deep shit. We knew that the spear was going to come into play though. But yeah, that was a good fight scene. Then we go obviously to Moff Gideon, and this bit annoyed me because he's just holding a sword over Baby Yoda. He could have easily just shot the bloody sword and blown it up, or just shot Moff Gideon, because the impact would have thrown Moff Gideon backwards, and it would have been fine. Or just shoot the at least the hit.
Yeah, it's easier said than done when it's your son in the equation, though, isn't it? Man?
Yeah, yeah. But these kind of things always happen, and by the time you strike, you can always, mind you, with a dark blade, he could have just dropped it.
He got what he wanted out of Baby Yoda, which was interesting. Like he got the bloods, and a lot of people are already theorizing that this is the creation of Palpatine.
Yeah, but the exchange was like, my God, Mandalorian is the thickest fucking cunt in the galaxy. Because it's like you're going towards the kid, you turn your back on Moff Gideon. Here we go. We already had the foreshadowing of, it can't cut through Beskar, so you knew that this was coming anyway. But that being said, the fight scene itself was great. I enjoyed the fight. I enjoyed the.
I like the way the Beskar spear was getting hot in certain areas.
Exactly.
I love that.
I loved it. I loved the choreography in that fight scene was fantastic. All silliness aside, that led to that. It was a great fight scene. It was a great little bit where he kicks a spear up on his back leg and brings it forward. That was fucking fantastic. So that bit was great. The taking down of Moff Gideon was great. But that being said, if we go straight into it, I was disappointed with everything that happened with Moff Gideon. I felt that he was just made out to be a
cartoon villain.
A cartoon villain, reduced to nothingness. Even when if we fast forward to one other thing I want to get to before we fast forward to the bridge bit, there's a scene where they're all shooting and they're on that walkway and everyone's fucking shooting, but then when the stormtroopers show up behind,
they shoot them.
Thing, and they're like, freeze, and like, but everyone was shooting us before that. Why are you telling us freeze? For obvious reasons, to set up the Mandos coming up with their jetpacks. Yeah. Pew pew. I was like, oh, fuck off.
These guys have been killing your teammates, and you're gonna fucking tell them to freeze.
Yeah, like, don't move. Like, fuck off. And Cara Dune's gun jamming, really a laser fucking gun jamming. What the fuck? That was stupid.
The girls got it done. Was done really well in this one as well.
That's why the other guy wasn't in it, because they wanted to set up that scene where it's just the women, girls getting it done.
But it wasn't. I only kind of realized a little bit through that. Okay, yeah, there's a bunch of girls, and now are people going to make an issue of that? But And I hope they don't, because I didn't think it was a big deal in the first place.
Nah,
because these
really.
characters have been around,
Yeah.
and
I knew what Disney were going for. In Endgame, all the women kicking ass together and all this kind of squad.
They didn't try
They went for it.
They didn't try to tell you what it is, though. They just
Yeah,
made
but
it
it
happen.
was just it felt like that. But obviously, the not having the other guy included, I knew that something like that was going to happen anyway. But I didn't care. It was again, the shooting scenes were great up until that bit where the stormtroopers were like, freeze, don't move. And that kind of ruined that scene. But the rest of it, yeah, they were great. Seeing Fennec kick ass while they're moving down not down the corridors, but in the kind of storerooms and things like that. That was brilliant.
I liked it when Cara Dune's gun jammed and she turned it into a fucking swinging bat and started whacking them with it. I knew she would do that.
I didn't mind her beating people up, but it's the gun jamming just doesn't make sense. How does a laser gun jam? Other guns jam because the bullets get lodged.
Yeah, I know, but I don't give a fuck. I really don't care.
And she could have just been slapping them up.
I just like that. It just set up because she came, she's this hulking mass of fucking muscle, Cara Dune, and she just like. I love the fact that when you got this quartet of people, you got like a sharpshooter in Fennec, you've got the muscle in Cara, and you've got a couple of assassins in the Mandalorians as well. I like the
that whole scene again. Like I said, take the stormtrooper bit out of it. Everything else, brilliant. It was good action. Okay shot, not the best. Could have done with more long shots, but overall, it was great. And then we get to the bridge.
Earlier on, when he was fighting the Dark Trooper 1-on-1, after he defeated him, I did like the way he opened up the cargo doors and they all sucked out. Kind of reminded me of Aliens a little bit. That made me laugh. I saw one of them
like clambering on, and then out you go, mate. Yeah,
but it was pretty cool that they did come back, which I did like. I was like, all right, they're back and shit like that.
Sorry. I thought is that it? I completely forgot that they had jetpacks because they flew down to capture the kid. And so I was glad when they came back, and that whole build up, that whole tension was fantastic as well. Because you're sitting there thinking, why do you got guns? Sorry, go on.
I was concerned that these troopers were going to be made out of Beskar, because if they were, then they'll never confirm whether they were or weren't. But I guess they're not, because the way fucking Luke put his fucking lightsaber through him, they probably weren't.
Yeah,
he's so powerful in the Force, Luke. I mean, Luke is so fucking powerful that he probably would have the ability to penetrate their armor with his lightsaber. It's a good possibility,
Well, he could just
if they were made out of Beskar.
Yeah, he could have just ripped the armor off and stabbed them. But it was a Beskar. No. It definitely wasn't. But
now
it'll be interesting to know what kind of metal it was, seeing as it deflected blasters and that.
Now, before Luke comes on the scene, we get that moment where Mando brings Moff Gideon in on the bridge as prisoner or hostage, and Bo-Katan sees the Mando with the fucking darksaber in his hand, and Mando is the fucking ruler of Din Djarin is the ruler of Mandalore. It's fucking brilliant, and this scene never really got expanded. Like, he did try to give the lightsaber back. He even yielded, he could even if they have to fight, he doesn't have to be killed. You can beat somebody without killing them for the fucking darksaber. And if that's the case, he could just say, "Go and take a swing at me," and then have it. It's a bit of a predicament. She wants to rule Mandalore, obviously. I mean, that's her whole fucking shtick. And it's going to be interesting, because I feel that season 3 of The Mandalorian, I mean, funnily enough, it could have ended just here and then. I would have been satisfied, to tell you the truth, but it felt like a good ending for this show. Because it really is Mando and the kid. I've always said that. It's Mando and the kid. I mean, where he goes, I go, and they're usually all together and shit. So with him out of the equation, if the show never continued and they want to go down with the Book of Boba Fett route, I'm fine with that. But if they do continue it, they have got this thread now where he could be the ruler of Mandalore, because they really need to change up the setup now for the next season, because it can't be mission of the fucking week all the time. I would be happy with one episode with just fucking story and not a fucking single shot fired or not a single ruck. Just some good fucking dialogue and some good world building and shit like that. That would make me happy. I would be totally fine with that. So we appreciate the violent scenes and the action scenes when they do fucking happen in other episodes. I'm not sure how you'd feel.
for me, some of the best parts in this season were the parts where they slowed down and just talked about things and just spoke about the lore and expanded on things like that. The action scenes in this season have been fucking spectacular. Among the best action scenes I've seen of any show ever. But it's not the be all and end all. That some of the dialogue where they actually just took their time and talked about certain things, I thought was absolutely fantastic. Going through to season 3, because because Grogu now went off with Luke, and we're no longer going to see the child. Hopefully, this is actually a good thing because that bit's been resolved. You couldn't just keep the kid in this because it was becoming too much of a distraction. It was becoming too much about that. So now, with the new mission of him being the ruler of Mandalore, unless Bo-Katan thinks otherwise, or there's tension there, we can then focus on gathering up the rest of the Mandalorians and going on those kind of quests to find Mandalorians, or what happens when others find out that Bo-Katan is no longer the ruler of Mandalore, even though they have the Darksaber. So there's a lot of interesting avenues where they go with this. I do think the scene where Grogu went off and obviously they said goodbye to each other was very beautifully done, like really touching, really nicely done. And seeing R2-D2 come in as well was lovely, as well as a nice, pleasant surprise.
Glad you brought him up. That was great. It reminded me of E.T., by the way, the ending.
That's right, yeah.
It reminded me of E.T.
Yeah.
See you later. You know what? I have to say, I think Pedro Pascal looks better with his helmet on because he looks a bit weird with all that shit around his neck, and he's got so much shit on him, and he's a gaunt guy to a degree, and he's got all this shit around him. You know what I mean? He just looks a bit weird.
Yeah, keep the fucking helmet on, Pedro. Doesn't need to have it off all the time.
But that was a significant part as well, James, because he's done with the helmet rule of covering your face. He's done with it, and he's still considered himself to be a Mandalorian.
Yeah,
and it's going to be interesting to see where that takes us as well. And obviously there'll be, I'm sure factions of his previous or his current clan are going to be pissed off with him. That he's fucking doing that. I'd love to see the armorer come back.
It's true. We could have a clash between them. What's the name of the lady that built the armor?
Children of the Dark Watch or something like that. She's the armorer.
She's the armorer. And if she finds out that he removed his helmet and all of that, because don't forget, Bo-Katan can use that against him now. If there's kind of
she becomes a bit of a bitch. Like she starts becoming a bit of a jealous bitch. And she goes down that route, which I hope she doesn't, because she tries to come across as an honorable person. But I'm not too familiar with this character. But somebody said, by the way, that in the episode of the Clone Wars, Sabine Wren hands Bo-Katan the Darksaber. So if she's able to fucking do that, why the hell can't Din Djarin fucking hand her the fucking Darksaber too?
Well, there you go. Those are questions that need answering. I don't know about that Clone Wars thing, but maybe people could tell us down in the comments below what their thoughts are with Bo-Katan refusing to take the Darksaber from Mandalore, even though he yielded to just give it to her, even though she'd previously taken it when somebody has offered it to her. So do let us know in the comments below. So we get to the end credit scenes, and we're at Jabba's palace. And who do we see sitting on Jabba's throne? None other than his right-hand man, Bib Fortuna, who's gotten a bit chunkier.
A bit.
Just a bit. And has one of his own as a slave. And then Boba Fett and Fennec show up. Scenes similar, reminiscent to when the bounty hunter first showed up and shot somebody. And when Luke then showed up and choked somebody. They walk down the steps and pow. Boba Fett, oh, what a surprise. Dead. Shot.
He kills him right there and then, without even a second, even anything. Just boom.
Just
okay, this is the Boba Fett I know. This is the Boba Fett I know.
Yeah, and then sits on the throne with Fennec by his side, taking over Jabba's palace, completely forgetting the fact that unless they've changed the law of the Hutts, which they probably will now in Disney Star Wars, doesn't really work like that. The Hutts are a very powerful group of people. Would their empire have toppled so quickly after the end of the empire? their gang have. Well, we'll find out. Does that mean we're going to see Jabba more Hutts coming up? Because Jabba's been dethroned by this. Did the Hutts grant Bib Fortuna the role of leader on Tatooine, or the Tatooine region? So it's very interesting to see what happens. But I mean, we're getting another series, the Book of Boba Fett, and although that part would be interesting to see what happens, I don't really care. I don't really want Boba Fett series. I don't want yet another series set around the Skywalker saga. Thoughts, Sam?
I'm a little bit indifferent with you, mate. I mean, I was so happy with. I mean, this episode 8. Let's just be honest. Until Luke came along, it was kind of run of the mill.
Yeah, it was very run of the mill. I was literally watching it like this.
Luke made this fucking episode, but it was kind of run of the mill until Luke came along, and he made it really great. And I was left very happy and fulfilled, by this. So when I saw this end credit scene, I was like, oh, more fucking treats, more little trinkets for us, and okay, we're getting a Boba Fett series now, and I still feel that something needs to be fucking answered.
Well, I'm guessing just use his weaponry to get out.
Obviously, they can. They can do it however they want, and they can write it however they want. But I just feel it needs to be canonized in us visually seeing him getting the fuck out of there.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Fair enough. Yeah,
I want to see it.
Different to that, but I get it. Yeah, that's fine.
Other than that, I want to see stuff maybe about the criminal underworld. I don't know how Disney are going to do it, if they're going to cartoonify it, which worries me a little bit. But this episode, there were some brutal kills in this fucking episode, by the way. The way these stormtroopers were going down, they're all getting shot to shit. They're getting their necks broken. They're getting stabbed with Beskar. You know what I mean? There's some brutal kills. So I want the brutality if they're going to go with an underground sort of thing with the Book of Boba Fett. I want the brutality to be there. I want Boba Fett to remain this ruthless bounty hunter, doesn't suffer fools wisely either, for sure. But other than that, it's Star Wars, man. Just give me more.
But I want more, but different. I want new characters.
I agree. I mean, we are having another Mandalorian to a degree. We have two Mandalorian
I want to
shows.
go either back to the New Republic or forward, the High Republic, or forward away. We've discussed all that before, anyway. But I'm glad you said that. Yeah, the episode itself was just run of the mill, because I was literally, up until Luke showed up, I was just sitting there like, yeah, okay, all right. But when the Dark Troopers kind of came, I was like, oh, this is a nice bit tense moment. And then, when Luke came, that was it. I was like, all is forgiven. That was fantastic. And not just that, apart from Moff Gideon getting done like a bitch, apart from that, it was a satisfying end to the season. It was, even though you kind of wanted the different kind of climax of Moff getting away with the child, we got a better one, which was, we're no longer going to see the child. It's gone off with Luke. We got Luke, which is phenomenal. And now we have a new thing of what's going to happen between Mando and Bo-Katan. And that for me is a lot more satisfying, other than I got the Darksaber. Yep, see you later, mate. Off you go. And now what?
I just want this cliche to be not in the next season. Maybe once or twice, but not too often. Like the cliche of, okay, their backs are right up against the fucking wall, and then something saves them. In episode 2, it was the fucking pilots who saved them from the spiders. Yeah, in episode 4, I believe, it was fucking Mando saving Greef and fucking Cara Dune.
That's right,
with his fucking in episode 7, it was the fucking stormtroopers and the TIE fighters saving Mando and Bill Burr from the pirates. And in this episode, it was Luke Skywalker who comes in last second, saving them from the fucking dark troopers who are bashing the door. So that back against the wall in the last minute save, I don't want that all the fucking time. It's extremely cliched.
Yeah, so they need to drop that in season 3. Season 3, we just need to see more Mando being a fucking ruthless bastard, trying to unite his people.
I don't know if he can be now, man. He's experienced fatherhood, dude. He's a changed man. I mean, I don't know how he's gonna feel. Like he's pretty much given, like he's done what most fucking people do. He's given his kid away to the fucking Jedi. His Force sensitive kid.
Yeah,
it's so the lore and fucking
And then
of
we're gonna
Jedi.
need to like. Then there'll be questions like, "Oh, well, what happened to the kid? Did he die with Kylo Ren and blah blah blah?" And it's like, I don't care. Just give the fucking kid away. Just move on. We'll end it there, and we will do if Jason is up for it later. We can do the season review coming up later tonight. So stick around, check it out. We might do it. We might be there. If not, we're definitely gonna do it tomorrow, because that's our day of chatting about absolutely every and anything that happened during the week. And there's quite a lot to talk about, including Cyberpunk again.
More fucking shitting on Cyberpunk. We have a friend of ours who fucking loves Cyberpunk so much. He's like an evangelical fucking CD Projekt
still defending
fucking
them now.
person. And
still defending
this game is and yeah, we need to get this person on our stream so we can hear them explain themselves, because as far as they're concerned, their versions are right, so they don't give a shit. Well, everyone else's version is fucked. So
yeah.
Anyway,
we'll
talk about that another day.
Yeah, we'll talk about that another day. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you another time.
Yep. Bye.